Hello there. I am a 70-year-old man who has seen his fair share of life's storms. Masturbation has been one of my most difficult issues during the last 50 years. It's a challenge that has followed me like a shadow, an unpleasant companion on my life's path. It began as an innocent curiosity, a youthful investigation, but it quickly became an addiction, a vice that gripped me and made it difficult to break free. This conflict has had an impact on me and my life over the years. It left me with wounds, some apparent and many buried. It has formed and sculpted me, but not in ways that I am proud of. It has led me down roads I would rather not take. It has held me back, preventing me from realizing my full potential. Today, I'd like to share with you the 10 ways masturbation has badly influenced my life. Masturbation damaged my life in the first place by causing me to regress. Consider a man, much like myself, weaving goals and aspirations, only to discover that his progress has slowed to a crawl. This habit, this insidious addiction, has a way of anchoring you in the past and preventing you from moving forward. I found myself continuously daydreaming, not of a bright and hopeful future, but of being locked in my old flat, which represented my immobility. Each dream was a vivid reminder of the life I was living, one in which growth was stunted, potential was untapped, and progress was merely an illusion. It felt as if my life had become a broken record, repeating the same old song with no chance of altering the track. This backwardness, this retrogression, was the result of my addiction. Masturbation trapped me in the past, unable to move on in life. The second important impact was my inability to enter into a relationship or marry. For years, I craved for the camaraderie and deep connection that comes with a fulfilling relationship. However, my masturbation addiction posed an overwhelming challenge. Relationships need emotional vulnerability, the ability to open up to another person, share experiences, and connect deeply. But my addiction was like a wall, a barrier that kept me from making these connections. I was physically present, but emotionally, I was a million miles away. This incapacity to connect, to be vulnerable, prevented me from enjoying the benefits of companionship. I discovered myself trapped in a cycle of loneliness and isolation, with my addiction feeding my solitude and my solitude fueling my addiction. It was a terrible cycle that required years to stop. So I found myself alone, unable to maintain meaningful relationships. My addiction deprived me of the joy and fulfillment that come with meaningful relationships. Masturbation also had a detrimental impact on me in terms of self-esteem. Self-confidence is like a muscle. It must be exercised, developed, and grown. But my addiction was like a big weight, continuously pulling it down and keeping it from blossoming. I found myself doubting my ability, questioning my worth, and avoiding opportunities for personal development and accomplishment. The more I surrendered to this tendency, the lower my self-esteem became. It felt like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less confident I felt, the more I relied on masturbation for comfort, and the cycle continued. Interactions with people become increasingly challenging. I was always second-guessing myself, dreading criticism and rejection. This anxiety and lack of confidence kept me back. It prevented me from fulfilling my potential and accomplishing my ambitions. My masturbation addiction had locked me in a vicious circle of self-doubt and low self-esteem. Masturbation also caused financial instability. The addiction not only consumed my time but also prevented me from realizing my full professional potential. My work performance suffered as a result of my continual loss of attention and energy. I was trapped in a loop of short-term gratification that blinded me to long-term success. Promotions became a faraway fantasy, and my earning potential was limited. Furthermore, the addiction caused me to make terrible financial decisions. I found myself squandering money on immediate gratification rather than investing for the future. The allure of fleeting pleasure eclipsed the value of financial stability. I was stuck in a financial rut, with my money decreasing and no significant increase in sight. This addiction cost me more than just money. It was an investment of time, energy, and potential that I would never recoup. My addiction was an expensive one, both literally and metaphorically, the result of my addiction. You see, The body is not intended for perpetual self-satisfaction. It needs balance, relaxation, and recovery. My addiction caused a slew of health problems, some minor, some more serious. It began with lethargy, a continual feeling of exhaustion both physically and psychologically. The more I engaged in the act, the weaker my body felt. I was continuously tired, unable to complete even the most basic duties without feeling exhausted. Then followed the more frightening indicators. I began having significant back pain, eye strain, and hair loss. My immune system decreased, and I found myself getting sick more regularly. The act that was intended to be enjoyable was gradually turning into a nightmare as my health deteriorated with each passing day. The impact was both physical and psychological. Anxiety, despair, and mood swings were my frequent companions. Masturbation had a bad impact on my physical health and jeopardized my general well-being. Emotional distress was a frequent companion throughout my masturbation experience. I was experiencing an emotional roller coaster. One day, I awoke happy, relishing in the fleeting joy. The next thing I knew, I was drowning in highs and lows. But the lows were always deeper, darker, and lasted longer. Depression and anxiety become uninvited. They would sneak up on me in the dead of night or in the middle of a crowded room. Depression, like a thick fog, would shroud my thoughts, whereas anxiety would send my heart pounding, my palms sweating, and my mind whirling. I was never at peace. Even at the happiest of times, there was a persistent nagging feeling, a whisper of remorse, a shadow of shame. It was as if I were living my life on the edge of a cliff, continuously fearing the fall. I was caught up in an emotional tempest caused by my addiction. My addiction also caused me to become socially isolated. The more I surrendered to the pull of self-gratification, the more I felt myself withdrawing from the world. It was as if a fog had descended, clouding my vision of the colorful life I had enjoyed. Relationships demand effort, attention, and emotional investment. My addiction took all of this away from me. I became a ghost, present in flesh, but not in spirit. Conversations were hollow, laughter seemed forced, and smiles were just a mask I wore. I started to avoid parties, preferring the isolation of my chamber. The warmth of familiar people was replaced by the frigid glare of a screen. My world shrank within the four walls of my room. I pushed away those who cared about me and attempted to assist. I erected a castle of solitude without realizing it was a jail. My addiction drove a gulf between me and the people I cared about the most. My masturbation addiction resulted in numerous failed opportunities. Opportunities in life are like a train waiting at the station for you to board and ride to your destination. But image yourself trapped in a cycle, an addiction that keeps you tethered to the same position, watching as each train of opportunity departs the station. My addiction functioned like a fog, distorting my eyesight and blinding me to possibilities that came my way. Whether it was a potential job offer that I was too exhausted to prepare for, or an opportunity to travel and widen my horizons that I turned down, preferring the comfort of my addiction. There were instances when I was given the opportunity to create significant connections and develop relationships that could have added value to my life. But my addiction rendered me immobilized, unable to enjoy the moment, leaving a trail of squandered possibilities. My addiction caused me to miss out on numerous possibilities. Finally, masturbating left me with a great deal of regret and remorse. I look back and see the years that have passed, the precious time that I spent. It's like a robber has taken my most prized item, time. I reflect on the numerous possibilities I missed. Relationships that may have been fostered and goals achieved have been replaced by a shallow, transient pleasure. It's a difficult pill to swallow, knowing that I let myself down and wasted my talent. I am tormented by what-ifs. What if I had made different decisions? What if I had sought help sooner? The remorse serves as a continual reminder of the life I could have had if I hadn't allowed myself become obsessed by this addiction. My addiction left me with a lot of regrets. Remember, it is never too late to make a difference. Don't let your regrets shape your life's tale. Take control. Make a change. These are the situations in which masturbating caused disaster in my life. It is critical to remember that it is never too late to get help and change the trajectory of your life. I've been through regression and degeneration, struggled with sustaining relationships and gaining self-esteem, coped with financial uncertainties, health issues, emotional turmoil, retreat, missed opportunities, and felt remorse and regret. These errors, my friends, are avoidable. If you recognize any of these signs in your own life, know that you are not alone and that assistance is available. Reach. It is never a dead end. Modifications can be made. To break the cycle of the past, you must first acknowledge the problem and then seek aid. On the other side of this struggle, you can look forward to a better life, a person who is richly deserving of this life. I'd like to share with you that at the end of this trip, I discovered consolation and strength in my faith. Trust God, pray, and read the Bible. It has the potential to release you. As stated in the Bible, the truth will set you free. Always remember that it is never too late to change course. Seek help today and begin your journey to a brighter tomorrow. If your involvement enables us to reach more people